Oke, selamat malam teman-teman. Terima kasih telah bergabung di Ngobrol 5x6 bareng Home Bookstore dan Gueari Galeri. Jadi ngobrol kali ini kita temanya tentang ngeteh bareng. Jadi akan ada 6 narasumber yang akan bercerita tentang kecintaan mereka pada teh. Oke, jadi untuk malam ini juga kita ada teman-teman yang nggak hanya dari Indonesia, tapi juga dari Singapura dan juga Malaysia. Dan diskusi ini akan dilakukan dalam bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris tanpa adanya translasi. Nah, teman-teman bisa bertanya gitu. Kita akan membuka pertanyaan setelah semua presentasi selesai dilakukan. Jadi selain melalui Zoom ini, teman-teman juga bisa menonton secara langsungnya melalui Facebook Gueari Galeri, dan diskusi ini juga akan direkam dan akan disiarkan di YouTube Gueari Galeri. Oke, untuk pembicara pertama kita ada dari Garut, Kang Dasep Badru Salam. Mungkin karena Kang Dasep belum ada di ruangan, kita bisa mulai pertama kali dulu. Li Hongyuan. So Li Hongyuan will be the first presenter. She will share about Pekoe and Imp's obsession with single origin teas, and that single origin teas are not difficult to enjoy. Okay, Hongyuan, you can start presentation in 5 minutes. So yeah, please share your story.
Let's start now.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Let me try and share the screen first. Let me know if you see it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you seeing the screen yet?
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Hi. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, HOM and Gueari Galeri, for also including Pekoe and Imp in this sharing, and thank you very much everybody else for joining us. So my name is Hongyuan. I'm the co-founder of Pekoe and Imp, and we are a tea business that's based in Singapore, and we focus on single origin teas. So when we first started in 2012, we were actually mainly just doing workshops to share about single origin teas. And at a point in time, single origin coffee was very popular. Everybody was drinking single origin coffee. People were already familiar with wines, right? And how like the place where wine is grown makes a difference to the wine. The weather that year makes a difference to the harvest. And people were starting to question about the foods. So for example, they're eating cheese. What country does the cheese come from? Is it from goat? Is it from buffalo milk? Or if they're eating Wagyu beef, is it a Wagyu beef from Australia, from Japan? So it's also natural that tea follows this same path. If everybody is starting to appreciate everything else, thinking about where the food comes from, tea actually people are starting to be more interested in teas as well. So now, what are single origin teas? Single origin teas is basically teas that's not mixed with other teas. So it's purely from one place, one region. So for example, if we're talking about Taiwanese Alishan Oolong, that tea is just purely from Alishan. If we're talking about a Margaret's Hope Estate Darjeeling tea, it's just from that particular estate, Margaret's Hope in Darjeeling, India. It's not mixed with anything else. Or a Kyoto matcha, that matcha is not mixed, it's just matcha itself. And actually, if you think about single origin teas, that's kind of the foundation of all teas. So if we have English breakfast, right? English breakfast is actually a blend of different teas of black teas from maybe from India, from Sri Lanka, from China, and the people who actually puts all these teas together, there's some idea about how teas from different countries taste like. Then they put it together to try and create the flavor that they are looking for. Another very popular blend will be Earl Grey. Earl Grey is black teas from different countries, and they put in bergamot orange essence to give that distinctive Earl Grey flavor. Okay, so now, if the art of blending tea is to create flavors that the tea blender is thinking of, the art of single origin teas is really to appreciate the flavors of the tea, why the tea tastes this way because of where it's grown, the history of how it's made that way. So, for example, let's see. So this first picture is actually a picture of an area in Phoenix Mountains in Guangdong where they have old tea trees. And it's an area that the Teochew people from China grow the teas, and they make teas into this oolong called tantong oolongs. And this tantong is actually very interesting because it's got natural tasting flavors like flowers, like gardenia flowers, for example, or the most popular one, honey orchid tantong. It has got lychee notes. But the thing is that all these flavors in the tea, it's natural from the tea. It's not actually added in. It's just that because the tea is grown in this place, it absorbs these nutrients from grounds, and the weather helps the tea to grow in a certain way. So the tea develops this flavor. Another place, well, this is Shizuoka in Japan. So Shizuoka is not a very high altitude place, but because the weather is pretty cold, they produce teas in a certain way. So a lot of Japanese teas can still be quite strong in flavor because it's not very high altitude. And also because the Japanese, for example, they choose to use a certain plant called Yabukita a little bit more. So you tend to have a lot more seaweedy flavors in the tea. That's kind of cultural. And well, this is actually in Taiwan. And in Taiwan, a lot of the teas are grown in very high areas. So this is Cuifeng, that's near Lishan. So because of the high altitude of the teas, right, the flavors tend to be a lot more delicate. Okay, so now, so when we're talking about single origin teas, we're not just talking about the place, we're also talking about the stories behind it. So this is one of our favorite teas. It's called Drifting Snowflakes, Jasmine Green. Actually in Chinese it's called Pi Tan Piao Xue, which means green pond and drifting snowflakes. Because the green tea, when it's brewed, it produces a green brew that's like a green pond, and also the flowers fall on top, so it's like drifting snowflakes. So it's a very poetic name actually. And another tea they would like very much. So this is the Japanese gyokuru. It's grown under the shade for 6 to 8 weeks before it's harvested. And because of that, it gives the tea a lot more tannin, which is the amino acid. So when you brew it, it becomes very soupy. It's like a seaweed soup. And the lower the temperature you brew it, the sweeter it is. And like usually very good gyokuru is brewed at 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so basically what we're trying to say here is that single origin tea is actually quite easy to appreciate. So please go out and talk to your nearest tea shop and just learn about them. And because we are based in Southeast Asia, it's a perfect place where we have different cultures coming together to learn about teas from different cultures. So thank you very much.
Okay, Hongyuan, yeah, time's up. And thank you so much for your story. And the next presentations, we will go to Oflavia and also Cindy Lee from Perfectly. Okay. Wait a second. Okay, Oflavia, you can unmute yourself, and also Cindy.
Yes. So I'm just going to share my screen. One second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Let me just bring this to full screen. 1 second. Okay. All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Oflavia. I'm one of the co-founder of Perfectly Tea, and here in this chat room, also one of my co-founder as well, Cindy, is in this room. So before jumping to talk further about the brand, I would like to briefly introduce the story about us and how we came about Perfectly Tea. So how it started. So as you can see here, this is Cindy, Vivian, and myself. And we started Perfectly Tea back in August 2019, but we only have the product and ready to launch only back in January this year. So we're pretty early. We can say that we're pretty early. So we started this brand first by realizing how all three of us, we are hardworking professionals with such a hectic work-life balance. And even at times, it's very hard to maintain that well-being and even just to maintain a healthy lifestyle in our daily life. So because of this common challenge that we are all trying to solve, and also we want to incorporate that little bits of like something small into our daily life, and that could trigger something like a bigger change, and with our passions for tea as well, and that combining it what started Perfectly Tea. So Perfectly Tea is not just a tea, it is a lifestyle brand with a mission. So here you can see our two current products, which is Power to Create and Beauty Sleep. So this serves as our morning and evening tea. So Power to Create here is our morning tea that is focused to give you this boost of energy, and so for you to kind of like go through your day with like a high energy and perform best at your day. Whereas Beauty Sleep, it's meant for you to kind of like wind down your day and then focus and relax, and then just like sleep better at night. And through Perfectly Tea, we are hoping to help people, and specifically women, to be at their best and create a healthier lifestyle. So why women? Um, we focus on women because obviously it's very relatable to us, because we are a female-founded brand, and we seek to build a brand to empower women. I think I can speak for myself, because when I grew up, I'm surrounded by a lot of women that are very passionate, but they only know a certain path for themselves. So for example, like they just know, okay, I'm just gonna be a housewife, which is such an amazing role, but at the same time, I know how they also want and have this desire to achieve other things in their life, but they only know a certain path. So I think even eventually, we also want Perfectly Tea to be a platform that can inspire other women to be empowered and then achieve their goals and dreams, and not to be just, forced to follow a single path. So coming back to the tea itself, we are very aware, obviously, of the great benefits of tea and what it can bring to our life. And we also want to combine it with real fruits. And so there's no artificial flavor here. And we want to combine it with the best ingredients out there. So for Power to Create, it's a combination of oolong tea and pineapple. And we only provide like the best quality of tea leaves out there. And Power to Create, it has caffeine, and that's why it's perfect for your morning routine. And it gives that like kick of energy because of the freshness that the pineapple bring as well. Whereas Beauty Sleep, it's more serves as herbal tea. It's a combinations of lemongrass, licorice, rose, lemon balm, and stevia leaves, and it gives you this kind of soothing and relaxing feeling, so that when you take that sip of a tea, it kind of like suits you down, and then it's perfect to be drink at night. And so, yeah, coming to an end of my presentation, definitely would like to say thank you to HOM and Gueari Galeri to host this kind of conversation, because it's also really nice to be connected with fellow tea lovers out there. And yeah, do check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Perfectly Tea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Oflavia. Yeah, you have like 5 seconds left, but yeah, it's okay.
All right.
Okay, for the next presentation, we have Othniel here. Okay, so Othniel, you can unmute yourself. So yeah, hi Othniel. Okay,
Okay.
so hi, so Othniel, as a champion of Indonesia Team Master 2019, he will share about Gong Fu Cha and how to do it. Okay, Othniel.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Othniel Giovanni. My Instagram account is called Exotic. So, I'm going to talk about Kung Fu Cha today. The reason why is because there are a lot of misconception nowadays about Kung Fu Cha. Because people always think that Kung Fu Cha is only something that is fancy and you only be able to do it in a certain situation. Apparently, it's not that kind of tea ceremony. You can do Gong Fu Cha anywhere. You can do Gong Fu Cha anytime. Because if we take a look at all of the literatures and if we take a look at the history, we can see that even in the normal days in China, people can do Gong Fu Cha like on the side of the street or in front of their home. in their porches. The reason why is that it's just because of it's kind of a next level appreciation of single origin tea leaves. You know, like I will introduce you first to the tea wares that I'm going to use. The first one that we are going to use is a kisah or a teapot like this. This looks very small. For a lot of people nowadays, they always think that teapots should be big. They should be about 500 mil, 300 mils. But no, actually, like teapots like this existed, and this is not a toy. This is, you actually use this to brew tea in it. Okay, this is a very small teapot. It's only about 60 milli. And then we have this one, Gong Taobei, or we call it as the fair cup. This one, we use it as a pitcher. So we use it to distribute the tea later on. And then here we have the drinking cups, or we call it the piming bag. But this one, so these are all the teawares that we are going to use today. So first, when we are going to brew our tea, we have to sanitize everything. We have to clean up everything. How? So open the lid of the teapot, then you put in the hot water first to the teapot. Why is that? For you to, this is because we want to warm up the teapot, okay? So that when we brew the tea in it, the tea will unfurl better. So you can actually smell more of the aroma, you can taste more of the flavor later on, okay? And this also helps you to sanitize the teaware. As you put in hot water, you make sure that bacteria or the dust and everything, they all be expelled out from the teapot. Now we go into the Gong Taobei, or the fair cup, or easily the pitcher, and then we put it onto the teacups. This is just for normal people to do at home, not something that is really fancy. This is just normal. People always think that when we do Gong Fu Cha, it's going to be a ceremony. No, you can do it at home, because this is just a part of culture of Chinese people. We do this all the time. This is not something too fancy to do like when you're at home alone. It's okay. And then the next part will be, we take out the tea. When you take out the tea, do not chuck the tea scoop directly, because it will break the tea leaves. What you can do is that you can twirl it around until the tea expel, or you can put this gently inside, and then you put the scoop against the wall, then you can twist. Then you will get the leaves, you put it in, more. Okay. How much? Until you cover the bottom of the teapot. This is not a rule of thumb. This is just a suggestion. If you want to put in more, it's up to you. If you're rich, you can put in more. It depends on the value of the tea as well. If the tea is very expensive, don't put in more. And then after that, we put in the hot water. The first one we do not drink. The first one is to help to unfurl the leaves and to wash the leaves. Okay, because after some ages, after some time, usually the tea will produce some kind of enzyme, and we want to expel that. It's like when you're cooking meat, there will be scum rising on top. You want to get rid of that. Then the second one is for you to drink. This is the first brew. And you put in the lid back, and then after that, with the hot water, you pour on top of the pot. Why? Because we want to have an even temperature outside and inside of the teapot, so that the tea will be brewed nicely. And then after that, we can serve the tea. So if you take a look, I do not wait for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes to steep the tea. It's only a matter of seconds. Why? Because I'm using a small teapot, and the amount of tea leaves is sufficient enough to be extracted in just a matter of seconds. Then we serve. When you serve, you do not serve it to the full of cup first. Why? Because you want it to be even. So you serve it little by little until it is all evenly shared. Okay. Now.
Okay, Othniel, time is up. Thank you for your interesting this practical thing. So we will go to the next presenter. Okay, so for the next presenter is Rio Setia Monata dari Sinau dan Serawung. Jadi sebagai dosen desain interior di Universitas Gunadarma dan pendiri kedai Teh Sinau, Rio akan berbagi kisah tentang kedai Teh Sinau yang merupakan tempat pembelajaran dengan konsep lokal yang sederhana untuk menyuarakan teh sebagai simbol Serawung atau bergaul atau bersosialisasi dengan baik. Oke, silakan Mas Rio untuk meng-unmute dirimu.
Udah ya?
Oke, sudah Mas. Silakan.
Terima kasih atas waktunya. Terima kasih HOM dan Gueari Galeri. Perkenalkan, saya Rio Setia Monata. Saya dosen desain interior Universitas Gunadarma dan juga founder di Sinau, kedai Teh Sinau. Sinau dan Serawung. Ya, idenya Sinau itu diambil dari nama Jawa yang berarti belajar. Jadi ada kedai, teh, belajar, dan buku. Jadi itu salah satu ruang alternatif di mana itu di situ ada area komunal sederhana yang juga kita fokus pada kearifan lokal. Terus tujuannya sebagai mewujudkan teman-teman yang datang ke situ untuk nggak cuma ngeteh aja, tapi dia bisa belajar, mereka bisa belajar membaca buku dan hal lain sebagainya. Terus kemudian Serawung di sini adalah bersosialisasi. Inspirasinya yang pertama kenapa ada kata Serawung itu adalah jadi kegiatan ngeteh di desa itu kebanyakan memang bertujuan untuk kayak semacam Serawung gitu. Kayak contohnya di desa ada lahiran, terus ada kematian, ada syukuran, ada mitoni orang melahirkan, terus kemudian memberikan syukur, ucap syukur itu di situ selalu menghadirkan teh di sekitar upacara-upacara tradisional tersebut gitu. Nah, Serawung di situ saya ambil jadi inspirasi menjadi di kedai Teh Sinau sendiri, yaitu diskusi, terus ada pameran, juga ada kolaborasi. Nah, kemudian itu inspirasi saya dapat dari desa yang saya lahir di Desa Banyu Biru, kebetulan di Ambarawa, dan di sana juga ada perkebunan teh juga. Nah, branding, signatur, produk, dan kegiatannya, inspirasinya dari angkringan. Nah, kenapa angkringan? Karena saya hijrah tahun 2007, sampai sekarang saya tinggal di Jogja, dan inspirasi angkringan yang saya lihat itu adalah bentuk solidaritas atau bentuk sosialisasi yang saya lihat di sekitar saya sendiri gitu. Ya mungkin orang melihat ini sangat remeh gitu. Tapi ini adalah budaya yang saya lihat di sekitar kita dan di Jogja terutama, bahwa di angkringan di situ tuh orang nongkrong dan orang di situ menikmati teh walaupun tehnya yang sangat basic, sangat sederhana, atau bahkan mungkin orang bilang bahwa teh-tehnya mungkin sangat biasa gitu ya. Tapi tehnya itu bukan tujuan utama, tapi melainkan hanya sebagai alat atau cara gitu ya. Dan tujuannya yang lain adalah Serawung atau berkolaborasi atau berkegiatan dan lain sebagainya. Next. Nah, ini ada cuplikan video kecil gitu. Teh yang ada di kedai Teh Sinau, yaitu teh melati, teh serai, teh jahe, kemudian ada teh mint, terus kemudian ada teh hitam. Nah, terus ada teh campur, kemudian ada teh dimix dengan rempah-rempah atau jamur. Terus selanjutnya, nah yang membentuk tujuan lain dari orang ngeteh itu yaitu adalah pembelajaran gitu. Jadi orang datang ke situ itu nggak cuma nongkrong, tapi mereka belajar dan bekerja, menikmati suasana yang dihadirkan yaitu lokal gitu, terus ada diskusi di situ, ada apa ya, interaksi gitu. Nah, yang saya tuju adalah seperti itu. Jadi bukan tehnya. Mungkin saya banyak belajar yang tadi dari 4 pembicara yang hebat-hebat tadi. Dari situ saya terus kok menarik ini, ternyata banyak hal yang harus bisa diulik di teh itu sendiri gitu. Nah, ini ada beberapa furniture yang saya pakai. Kebetulan saya tim kreatif di Santai Furniture, dan kita juga menyuarakan lokal gitu. Ini ada karya Pak Singgih dan karya Pak Eko Prawoto. Terus di situ juga ada sharing session di kedai teh Sinau dan designer talk. Jadi di pandemi seperti ini kita nggak kreatif gitu. Jadi kita tetap terus aja di kedai tetap ada sharing session dan designer talk gitu di Zoom dan di Google Meet gitu. Terus ada nama nguliah gitu. Nguliah itu juga pas ada nguliah itu karena di mana pembelajaran itu nggak cuma di kampus tapi juga bisa di platform lain seperti kayak contohnya sekarang ini di bersama Gueari Galeri gitu. Jadi di kedai.
Oke Mas Rio, maaf sekali waktunya sudah habis. Iya, terima kasih untuk pembahasan tentang kedai teh Sinau. Sekarang kita menuju ke pembicara selanjutnya. Apakah di sini Kang Dasep sudah bergabung? Tidak, sepertinya belum. Oke. Kita bisa ke Tasya Merari. As an art student who is learning life from nature, Tasya will share the nature message through tea brewing while practicing the art of keep listening and arranging dried flowers. Oke, Tasya, kamu bisa meng-unmute dirimu, dan bisa share screen untuk presentasi yang akan kamu tampilkan.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tasha. First of all, I would like to thank the HOM bookstore and the Gueari Galeri for giving me the opportunity to speak. In here, I don't have any presentation to show you, and I don't have to tell you anything about tea because I'm sure we all here quite having some understanding about tea. But what do I like to emphasize here is the tea as a media for us to listen. So there is one thing that I've been thinking a lot recently, and I think about the world that is going on right now. Most of my friends have been complaining about having a very hard time recently, especially during these COVID times. Then I try to read some books and also seeing some short films, especially from Ram Dass and Thich Nhat Hanh, Oprah Winfrey, and others like that. So I have found, at least for me, one conclusion of what is actually going on is that we have been living in this contemporary era and that we have been absorbed so into an era where we are all doing everything fast and instantly. So I think we kind of miss some essence of life, and one of them is to listen. Listening is a very great deal, I think. It has a very great impact for everyone. Just for instance, a little kid who grew up with less attention than their parents, one day they'll grow into many kind of characters, human being. But then we often call this kind of kids as the attention seeker. But when you take a look and you pay attention closely, they actually just need to be listened. So I am still studying. I'm still studying art, and I have this little tea shop. It's a tea and flower shop. It's in the middle of an Indonesian traditional market. So I get a lot of questions about why do I want to be there inside the Indonesian traditional market, because Indonesian traditional market, they have this look. It's kind of dirty, and for people who shop there are usually middle class to lower class people. But I'm not gonna lie. First of all, they're cheap. The rent is cheap, and the second is, I think we need to take a look of a different surroundings where, well, we shouldn't, but we kind of have to see sometimes the other side of people living. How about the middle class and the lower class? Because the majority in Indonesia is lower class. So I think it's very important if we kind of abolish the border between social class, the upper class, middle class, and the lower class. And I think tea is a great deal because we know that there's so many history about tea. How the tea became the English culture when they are talking over some plans to kill people over tea back in the late centuries ago. And I mixed it with flour because what do we feel when we hear the words of tea and flour? Often we will think of something fragile. And most case of fragile things, of fragile people, they just want to be listened. So I think it's very important while we drink tea and we actually feel the taste, because sometimes there's a strong taste from tea. But I think the important thing about the strong taste in tea is just it requires us to stop a bit and try to listen. And my place is that my mission is to have more and more people come and they just want to tell their stories about everything with no judgment, because here I want to learn and I want to share the important thing about listening. I think that's all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Tasha, for sharing about deep listening related to tea. Okay, and the next presenter we have Kang Dasep, Badru Salam. Kang Dasep bisa di unmute suara Kang Dasep.
Halo.
Halo Kang, oke, terima kasih telah bergabung. Jadi Kang Dasep ini berdomisili di Garut sebagai petani dan wirausaha, dan Kang Dasep akan berbagi tentang budaya minum teh masyarakat Sunda. Kang Dasep, ada presentasi yang mau ditampilkan?
Enggak sih, ngobrol-ngobrol saja sedikit.
Oke, baik ya. Silakan Kang, saya nyalakan waktunya sekarang.
Ya. Terima kasih, Sampurasun. Selamat malam kepada teman-teman semua. Mohon maaf saya telat gabung, tapi di 2 season 3 season tadi kita mengikuti. Sedikit saya menyampaikan tentang Nyaneut ya. Karena waktunya cuma sekedar 5 menit, saya mencoba sebagai mungkin untuk menyampaikan. Jadi Nyaneut itu adalah tradisi minum teh masyarakat Sunda zaman dulu. Ya, Nyaneut itu berasal dari bahasa nyandet, kan? Artinya itu menghubungkan, menyatukan. Nyaneut is connecting. Itu yang menjadi makna kata dari Nyaneut. Nah, sebenarnya Nyaneut itu tempat dulu itu suatu cara untuk mengguyupkan, mendekatkan yang tadi jauh menjadi dekat gitu kan, ngumpulin orang gitu. Nah, si Nyaneut itu identik menjadi sebuah tradisi, yaitu tradisi minum teh. Nah, masyarakat tempo dulu kan kebanyakan itu ada petani. Petani ketika misalkan mau bercocok tanam, itu suka guyup dulu, suka ngobrol dulu. Mari kita Nyaneut dulu gitu. Jadi istilah minum tehnya itu adalah Nyaneut. Terus ada tata cara juga minum tehnya. Jadi pertama itu langsung saja disampaikan ya. Jadi ketika air tehnya, si tehnya itu terkenal dengan teh kayak teh galang, diambil dari teh hijau, tapi diproduksi manual, pakai tangan itu kan, tradisional, handmade gitu kan, proses pembuatannya. Jadi identik Nyaneut itu dengan teh hijau. Walaupun minum teh Nyaneut bisa dengan teh-teh yang lain, black tea ataupun yang lainnya ya. Nah, cuman kebanyakan masyarakat sekitar itu menggunakan teh hijau karena mudah untuk diproses. Proses minum tehnya, jadi ada tata caranya. Ya, kita tuangkan. Sebelum diminum, dipegang dulu, itu diputar dulu 2 kali, searah setengah putaran jarum jam. Sembari menghirup aroma, 2 putaran. Selanjutnya dihirup 3 kali. Pakai feeling ya, 3 kali itu. Jadi cara menghirup juga lepas saja sampai enaknya ketika kita ngirup air teh itu gitu. Nah, selanjutnya itu diseruput sebanyak 4 kali. Seruputan pertama yang penting airnya itu nempel dulu di lidah. Tetap itu pakai feeling, jadi bikin nyaman saja ketika menghirup, minum teh itu bikin ketika meminumnya. Seruputan yang kedua itu agak lebih tebal, jadi setengah di pangkal lidah. Seruputan ketiga itu sampai ujung lidah, makin tebal lagi. Seruputan keempat tetap sampai ujung lidah, tapi agak ditahan 3 detik baru minum. Nah, itu ada tata cara minum teh Sunda seperti itu. Nyaneut itu sendiri maknanya mensyukuri nikmat Tuhan gitu, mensyukuri pemberian Tuhan gitu kan, mempererat persaudaraan, tali silaturahmi gitu. Nah, jadi sebelum ngobrol membicarakan apapun itu, tema apapun itu, diawali dulu dengan Nyaneut, minum teh. Walaupun masing-masing, cuman dilakukan secara hikmat gitu kan. Suatu proses mendekatkan gitu, suatu proses bahwa tadi bentuk syukur terhadap Tuhan, serta bentuk menenangkan tubuh kita gitu, supaya lebih rileks lagi, pikiran tenang. Nah, sesuai dengan sifat atau karakter teh itu sendiri gitu. Itu sih sebenarnya. Terus makna-makna di Nyaneut itu kenapa sih diputar 2 kali, dihirup 3 kali, diseruput.
Kang Dasep, maaf waktunya sudah habis. Nanti kita bisa buka pertanyaan setelah presentasi ini. Terima kasih sekali. Oke, bagi teman-teman yang punya pertanyaan, bisa tuliskan di kolom komen. If you have any questions, please type your questions on the comment column. Okay, so for the first question, I have a question for Hongyuan. Okay, please tell me how can you fall in love with tea for Hongyuan? You can unmute yourself.
The question is, how can you fall in love with tea?
With tea, yeah, for the first time.
Well, I think tea drinking, people drink tea for different reasons. So some people drink tea because they like the flavor. Some people drink tea because they're looking for the spiritual sort of connection. Some people drink tea for health reasons. So I think a lot of times thinking about the reason why you are interested in tea might help too. So for example, if you're just drinking tea from a tea geek, like for a taste point of view, just looking, exploring the flavors of tea is enough to make you fall in love with tea. Whereas like some people, they're actually looking for tea to calm themselves down and to kind of like, as a way of finding themselves. then like when you practice a little bit of tea ceremony, or even like simple Gong Fu Cha. I really like the way he says that Gong Fu Cha is for everyday drinking. It's not just like a ceremony. Just sitting down, brewing your own tea, that actually, well, it's a very enjoyable experience, and that might also help you fall in love with tea. So maybe to think about what angle of falling in love with tea that you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the second one, I see like tea workshops on your website. Perhaps you can share a little bit more about tea workshops that you usually conduct.
Well, so usually when we do tea workshops, we are trying to, it's a really geeky scientific way of learning about teas, because there's such a broad range of teas, right? Like you've got white teas, you've got green teas, yellow teas, oolongs. It's a very, very broad range. And for a person who's coming to experience tea for the first time, it can sound very daunting. It's like, wow, so many teas, where do I start from? So the workshop's really, really aiming at helping people to come up with a structure to remember teas. So, you know, when you encounter teas, it won't be so difficult to try to remember everything if you can put them into a category. For example, like it's definitely going to fall into a green tea, white tea, yellow tea, oolong tea, that sort of category. And the other thing we focus on is to think about how to brew teas, because a lot of people look at tea brewing, like, you know, Gong Fu Cha, actually, if you look at how, well, I think he did it really, really well. It's actually very simple. It's just teapot, tea leaves, water, you pour in, you pour it out. It can be as simple as that. Of course, you can go deeper and you can start thinking about the teapot you choose. Like for a person who's coming to drink tea for the first time, we want them to just sit down and brew their own tea a little bit, to realize that actually tea brewing is really quite simple. You don't have to make it complicated. You just put water in, you pour it out and drink it, it's fine. So that's what our workshops really, really aiming at, helping people get to know teas.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Hongyuan, for your answers. Okay, for the next one, for Oflavia from the Perfectly Tea. Okay, I have to see the column first. Okay, from Natasha Efrosia. Pertanyaan untuk Perfectly Tea. Dapat ide untuk menemukan the perfect tea recipe. Dapat ide dari mana kali ya untuk menemukan the perfect tea recipe?
Oh, okay, yeah, I can answer. So I think before we even nail down our product, we try so many different tea. I don't know even how many tea we try in like daily basis to just get to this perfect tea in a way. Yeah, I think how we just really try so many tea, trial and error, just kind of find something that suits to our needs and suits to our brand. I think that's how we came about these two products that we have. And yeah, Cindy, do you want to add on something to that, to the answer?
I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Cindy and Ofla. Okay. Mungkin before we go to another speakers, I will go back to Hongyuan. There is a question from Home Bookstore. What inspires you to make Pekoe and Imp, and how you see potential tea market in Asia, including Indonesia? Is there any possibility to collaborate with another organization from another countries?
Well, so when we first started Pekoe and Imp, it's because when I was first learning about tea, it was very difficult to find information about tea. So in Singapore, a lot of the tea shops are the very traditional tea shops, and they are very fierce. So when you go in there, and then sometimes they sound very, very fierce, but actually it's just the way they communicate. So because we know that other people might have difficulties finding out about teas, so when we get enough information, we wanted to share by doing workshops, and that's how we first started doing Pekoe and Imp. So it's really just to share our knowledge of how single origins tea are. And over time, since we have been sharing for some time, right, so we decided to start selling teas and teawares as well. About collaboration, actually, I think that in the current world, a lot of things that we do is collaboration anyway, right? So like, for example, in a cafe, if you open a cafe, you might be a coffee roaster, but you might collaborate with somebody else who does tea, somebody else who does specialty foods, somebody else who does interiors, and then you actually, you know, like in the past, maybe you just employ them and then you just do your thing. After that, you don't talk about them. But nowadays, when you work with other people, we tend to share like a lot more about the other people that we're working with. So collaboration definitely is a big thing, not for us, I'm sure for everybody as well. So for example, we've collaborated with chocolate makers, Fossa Chocolate. They are a local chocolate roaster. So we actually make tea chocolates with them. We actually collaborate with ice cream makers, kombucha makers. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for collaboration between the tea people in the region and the tea people with other people with other interests in the region as well.
Okay. 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 Is there anything you want to add? Hongyuan? That's it.
Let me see the question. How do you see potential tea market? Actually, I think that tea, well, I don't know. I think that there's definitely a room to grow for tea because, well, tea definitely hasn't gotten to the same level as coffee and wine in the region yet. So well, I think that with more collaboration and more interest in tea in general, well, I do hope that tea is going to grow somewhere in our region as well.
Okay, thank you, Hongyuan. Okay, we go back to Ofla. There is a question? 3 words for tea.
Okay. I wonder if it's like personally to me or just for perfectly tea, but I think when I hear tea, I would resonate it with health and with routine and with just kind of like a peace of mind.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Ofla. So for the next question to Othniel. Othniel, do you want to ask something for your this practice, your practice related to tea?
Okay, so actually when we talk about Gong Fu Cha or any kind of tea brewing style, we need to take a look at the reason why we do it, okay? Because when we do this, it's only because we want to enjoy it. It's because we want to be able to savor the very last bits of the taste of the tea. There is a reason why I choose to brew my tea in the style of Gong Fu Cha instead of doing it Western style. Because first, we need to understand the character of the tea. Some tea, you can bring out the flavor more if you do it via Gong Fu Cha. Some tea, you should just enjoy it as simply as doing it by Western style. So what you really need to do is to understand the character of the tea leaves first, the character of the tea. When you understand the character of the tea, then you will be able to decide what kind of method that you are going to use. However, if you do not have the tools, for example, like what Hongyuan said before, like this kind of teapots, and also when you are deep into Gong Fu Cha, you will search more about it. You will research more about it. How are you going to be able to go further into a next level of Gong Fu Cha? And you will take a look at the teapot, the materials, and everything. For beginners, you don't need to think about that first. Usually, when I advise people who started up doing tea, I would not actually advise them to try to look for clay pots themselves, because clay pots, if they get a fake one or if they get a very, very low quality one, it can be dangerous for them. As we know, if it is not glazed, there can be a chemical leach happening. So I would actually advise them to use first ceramic, glass, or porcelain. For beginners, these three materials are already enough. Why? Because it helps them to brew. Because the only reason is for you to be able to savor the tea first. If you are going deep into Gong Fu Cha, then you will need to learn more about the teapots and about the tea that you are going to serve. However, for beginners, you can just do it with ceramics, with porcelain, or with glass teawares. It's fine. It's just that I choose to use this. For example, the tea that I'm using today is an oolong tea. It's called yencha, or it's a rock tea. And it works best when brewed with teapots like this. This teapot is made of a specific material. It's called chuni. So it's a vermilion clay, or it's a red clay. This clay can bring out more of the fragrance, more of the flavor. That is the reason why I use this. However, to understand that, it means that you need to drink more, you need to explore more, you need to be willing to spend more money also, and you need to be willing to spare more time as well. Because when you are into tea, well, as a hobby, to be honest, it's gonna cost you a lot of money. It's gonna cost you a lot of time. Yeah, but don't be afraid to spend your money on this. You know why? Because you are not only investing in stuffs like this, but you are investing in yourself. The reason why, because tea, the first time when people learn about it, it is not, people do not drink it. First, when it was founded, it was eaten. For what? As an antitoxin, as some kind of a herbal, as some kind of a medicine. So this thing actually works well for your body. That is why I told you, like, if you're spending money on the right equipment, on the right tea, and you put in the right mindset, you will definitely invest some more than just into something like materialistic like this. It is seriously an intangible investment for you and yourself, and possibly your society, people around you. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Othniel. One question. Is there any impact of tea drinking habits during this pandemic?
Absolutely. Because I've been staying at home too much, I'm drinking a lot of tea. I'm finishing more of my tea now. It's getting dangerous. And there are actually some researches done in China about the relationship between tea and COVID, or with the coronavirus. This information was not out so much. However, they said there is a relationship, actually a positive one. If you drink more tea, stuff like that, lah, they said it's good for your health, and it is possibly helpful to not to avoid, but to increase your immunity, so that you will not be able to go sick easily. So in a sense, it helps to boost up your immune against the viruses.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Othniel. Okay, for
Yep.
the next one, we will go to Tasha, and maybe this question for every speakers. The question from Prastista Prameswari. Thank you for the inspirational talks. In one way, this reemergence of tea drinking culture or trend is like reclaiming what our Eastern culture has had for a long time from the imperialists. But in another, I would like to know what each respective brand owners think or practice about fair trade or ethical tea, living sourcing, relationship with farmers, etc. Because just like coffee, tea drinking has a lot to do with agriculture. Everyone wants to drink, but no one wants to farm. Then it is the end of it. I think also, do you guys think this will be just another trend or lifestyle generating or snobs, just like hipster coffee snobs, who only want to drink single origin coffee prepared with a very methodical way? Okay, maybe Tasha, you can answer this question first.
Well, I think trend is pretty much like fashion, you know, it goes around. There's a term, it says timeless. So the same goes to coffee and tea. It's a timeless culture. Now we are seeing the rising of the drinking coffee and tea everywhere. But I don't see it as an obstacle, as a problem to be worrying about, because if we truly have heart for something, then no matter what happens, we'll just gonna have this special space inside our heart to dig in into searching more information about things that we actually really care and love about. And in here we're talking about tea. And I don't think we can actually push people out of their curiosity, because each individual, each human, we have our own mind, we have our own experience, spirituality, mentally and physically, we are all experiencing different things. So if you are interested in knowing more about teas, I would recommend you, I mean, it is not hard these days to find information about anything. There's a lot of books and we have internet, and you can just search anything you want to know about tea, and you can talk to the farmer and etc. But I don't think we should push people or making harsh comments and criticize people when they don't want to figure out what's behind something. And here we're talking about tea because not everyone has the heart and the curiosity to find out about the little things and the hard work the farmers have done to deliver the tea to in front of us. I think that's my opinion.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Tasha. Wait a second. Okay, there's something. Okay. Yeah. Maybe from Mas Rio, do you want to respond this question from Prasista? Mas Rio mau menjawab pertanyaan Prasista?
Oke, ya. Salah satu alasan saya memilih teh ya, karena sebenarnya ada rasa kekhawatiran, karena sebenarnya di Indonesia itu kan setiap tahun perkebunan teh itu berubah fungsi gitu. Yang tadinya perkebunan teh itu menjadi perkebunan sayuran atau yang lain sebagainya. Jadi beberapa hal yang di kota atau maupun di dataran tinggi itu beberapa sekarang akhir-akhir ini tuh banyak yang banjir itu karena fungsi perkebunan teh itu sebenarnya bisa membantu untuk hal-hal yang terkait seperti ya kayak banjir gitu. Itu sih, itu salah satunya.
Oke, Mas. Atau juga mungkin bagaimana pandangan Mas Rio terkait fair trade atau perdagangan yang adil dan hubungannya dengan para petani, dan apakah juga misalnya teh ini hanya another trend atau gaya hidup gitu, seperti banyak kayak orang-orang minum kopi.
Justru saya malah di Jogja ini kebanyakan malah justru orang-orang membuat kedai, bukan kedai ya, tapi kafe ya lebih tepatnya. Kafe yang arahnya ke kopi, malah justru saya membuat hal yang berbeda gitu. Saya pengen memberikan sesuatu yang lain, yaitu teh. Jadi saya pernah main di daerah di Karanganyar gitu. Nah, saya melihat perkebunan teh di Karanganyar sangat besar sekali, dan saya melihat bahwa di situ tuh banyak orang-orang yang menikmati kebahagiaan bercocok tanam dari ngeteh, dari teh itu tersebut sampai dia memanen gitu. Jadi kayak ini sepertinya menarik gitu. Dan teh sendiri juga di desa saya juga itu menjadi salah satu cara atau alat yang tadi saya bilang, alat untuk bersosial gitu, untuk serawung. Nah itu pertama kali saya membuat kedai gitu. Jadi kedai ini sebenarnya baru 1 tahun ya, tapi lumayan lah, dalam 1 tahun ini saya udah mendapatkan hasil yang cukup baik gitu. Apalagi dengan konsep yang sinau atau pembelajaran tadi. Jadi ada tujuan lainnya gitu, kayak misalkan belajar dari disiplin lain gitu untuk bisa mengetahui hal-hal lain. Seperti itu sih.
Oke, Mas Yo, terima kasih. Untuk Kang Dasep, mau menanggapi pertanyaan Prasista. Kang Dasep bisa di-unmute dulu. Ya, sudah.
Oke, udah.
Ya.
Jadi pas mohon maaf tadi kan disconnect dulu tuh sinyal kayaknya. Pertanyaan yang tadi apa Mbak? Mohon maaf diulangi lagi.
Yang dari Prasista Prameswari bahwa bagaimana persepsi Kang Dasep gitu terkait fair trade atau hubungannya dengan para petani gitu. Dan juga ya karena kan memang kan tea sama dengan kopi ya itu banyak melibatkan agrikultur dan ya setiap orang pengen minum kopi tapi tidak mau bercocok tanam gitu tentang teh itu sendiri. Lalu bagaimana menurut persepsi Kang Dasep juga bahwa apakah minum teh ini hanya suatu gaya hidup yang seperti orang-orang lakukan seperti minum kopi juga gitu.
Ya, salah satu langkah yang saya lakukan adalah gimana caranya perkebunan teh ini tetap lestari. Kebetulan saya tinggal di Gunung Cikuray, Kabupaten Garut di Provinsi Jawa Barat pastinya. Itu kan sama dengan Mas Rio tadi, permasalahannya banyak lahan perkebunan teh alih fungsi terhadap pertanian ataupun sayur-sayuran. Padahal itu kan tak ada hujan ya, lahan konservasi. Sekarang udah banyak alih fungsi. Nah, alternatifnya sama saya membuat kedai teh namanya Moi Tea House supaya apa ya? Ya harus kekinian gitu. Harus kita kemas sebagai generasi milenials tentunya merubah mindset petani-petani dulu, petani kita terdahulu ya apa ya? Nah, akhirnya kita mendorong petani terus memproduksi, cuman kita menjadi jembatan mereka sebagai marketingnya, memasarkan teh-teh lokal. Nah, selain dipasarkan teh lokalnya juga, saya setiap tahun ada kegiatan namanya Nyaneut Festival, minum teh bersama-sama, ribuan orang bisa minum teh gitu. Pada bulan Oktober, ketika bulan purnama, itu di minggu ketiga. Itu dari berbagai daerah, kita bisa menikmati teh. Yang ditunggu-tunggu adalah prosesi minum teh. Ratusan orang, bahkan bisa jadi ribuan, minum teh secara bersama-sama seperti tadi yang kita lakukan. Nah, itu untuk menjaga hegemoni atau menjaga minum teh itu tetap lestari. Karena di daerah kita, ketika misalkan ada tetamu yang datang atau hadir ke rumah, kalau tidak disuguhi dengan teh, itu ngerasa kita tidak sopan. Jadi, tidak sopan kalau misalkan tidak disuguhi dengan teh. Nah, sekarang kebiasaan itu sudah mulai luntur. Jadi, ya udah kalau ada tamu itu cukup dengan air putih karena tehnya sudah menipis, sudah tidak. Nah, kalau tahun-tahun sebelumnya, tempo dulu, kalau tidak ada teh itu ada sesuatu yang hilang, yang kurang gitu di daerah itu. Makanya kita mencoba membangkitkan kembali, mengupayakan kembali supaya teh tetap digemari, tetap lestari, bahwa berkebun itu kekinian, berkebun itu apa ya, keren. Itu yang kita ciptakan terhadap generasi milenials ini gitu. Itu sudah bentuk upaya-upaya kita untuk hulu sampai hilir itu harus selesai. Petani tetap berkebun dan tentunya harus sediakan juga pasar. Gitu. Itu tentang.
Oke. Terima kasih banyak Kang Dasep. Oke, Hongyuan, do you want to respond Prasista question?
Is it the question about the trends and
yes?
Okay, that's a very, very heavy question. There's so many questions in that one big question. Firstly, I think the current trend of tea is not really completely Eastern. It's more like going to the food trends. You know how people first think about whiskey, then think about single origins, coffee, they think about wine, they think about where the food comes from. So tea is kind of like that sort of an international trend where people are just more particular about those. I think that that sort of a global trend does help, because in a way, when you drink good tea, you don't really want to go back to not so good tea, right? So if you drink good coffee, so if you have been drinking specialty coffee, to go back to not so good, like 3-in-1 coffee, it might be difficult. So same for tea as well. So once you're exposed to good tea, I don't think that it will just be a fad and you get bored of it and you don't want to drink good tea anymore. You want to go back to your not so good quality teas. So that's what I think about the tea trend. And about the worry that nobody will grow tea in the future because all the young people don't want to grow tea. Actually, I think that because tea has gotten a better reputation over time. So for example, in Taiwan, right, if you're a tea farmer, you go for competition, you can win. If you get gold prize, you actually get a lot of prestige with it. So in some of the countries, there are more and more young people who want to grow tea. So for example, in Taiwan, I think it's not, well, there are more young people who's looking at tea as well. In Japan, even in China, because actually tea is getting more expensive in China every year. So if you're a tea farmer, you can actually make money from tea. So I don't think that we will not have teas in the future because there will be no young people wanting to grow tea. So yeah, about whether it's elitist, snob lifestyle trend, I think it's how we approach it. So of course there will be people in all arenas, like be it food, be it coffee, be it wine, who will be approaching their preference for better quality stuff as a elitist thing. But I think sometimes we are just we like the tea, we like the coffee, we like the wine, we want to share it because we like it. That's it. We're not doing that because we say, our tea is better than yours. It's good quality. Yours is bad quality. It's not. It's just that, we like what we like and we want to share what we like. So I don't really think that it will. Well, there will be snobs, but I don't think that it will completely all go to that sort of a state where people think it's an elitist hobby.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Hongyuan. Ofla, do you want to respond to Prakista's question?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Prakista, for the question. So I think in my opinion, I definitely do agree that you have a point there. But for example, if it's just another trend and generating snobs, I think in a way, especially approaching the younger generation, there are times where you have to kind of make it mainstream in a way to kind of get their attentions and even deliver the message. But I think it's also a responsibility as you, the company or the brand, to kind of also make it ethical and make sure that when you are creating your brand, it's also kind of like, for example, making sure the farmer is very well taken care of. So when it starts from you and then when you market it to, like a global scale or like mass people, they will more and more understands about the importance of tea and like how tea is not just like, oh, tea, I'm drinking tea and that's about it. But if you as a company also deliver the message, they are gonna be more and more aware about this issue. So, and I think it's okay to make it mainstream, especially with the younger generation. You do have to kind of get their attention in a way, but as long as you are true to your missions and make sure you are coming from as an ethical company, then I think we can make sure that younger generation is very well educated as well. So that will be my take. And if Cindy, if you have any more opinion, just shout out.
Okay, thank you, Ofla. Othniel, do you want to respond?
Okay. First, when we talk about snobs and trends, I'm talking about here different tastes. Okay, so when we talk about trends, it all relates to taste. So it's like this. There are some people, okay, you are a tea snob, you only drink expensive tea, you only drink single origin teas. But the reason is that there must be a reason why they only drink a certain type of tea. I think it's because they just have different tastes. For example, I like tea My friend like coffee, the other friend like chocolate. Am I going to call them a coffee snob and a chocolate snob? No. They just have different tastes compared to what I have. Okay. Even in the tea community itself, people can have different tastes in tea. One person will focus more on the oolong tea, one person will focus more on green tea, one person will focus more on black tea. It all up to them. It is all up to them. Some people will actually go like stay only in the path of pu'er tea. That's it. And they don't want to drink anything else. Even there are some, let's say there are some people who does not consider other things aside from pu'er as tea. They only, okay, tea is only pu'er. Outside of pu'er, it's not tea. There are people like that also. So it is all depends on the taste. So I'm not thinking that will tea generate snob? I think not just tea. Anything else in this world will be, you will be able to generate snob from anything, from fashion, from drinks, from food, from whatever. And snobs will exist like forever. Throughout the ages, there will be snobs and it will be generated from anywhere. And then we'll talk about the worries about the fair trade, the price of tea and whatever. Okay, so this is actually a very, very heavy topic. Why? Because how are we going to value our tea if we are only willing we are all only willing to pay a small amount of money for the tea. So how are we going to preserve uh, tea tea plantations? Of course, when we talk about tea industry, we're talking about money as well, not just about taste. Okay, if the market are only willing to spend a small change to purchase tea, are you going to expect that there will be more people wanting to plant tea? Of course not. For example, I've been to a lot of tea plantation areas. One thing that struck me really hard was when I visited Japan about 2 years ago. When I went to Shizuoka, I was brought by the Japanese government and the tea association, the Japanese tea association, around the areas and some other areas in another island. They said, we have a lot of abandoned tea fields now. You know why? Because the younger people do not want to plant tea. Why? Because there is the price of tea wholesale is very cheap. I went to the auction. I went first hand to the auction and then to the farmers and everything. I talked to them. They said yes. Why? Because the younger generations, they shifted from the single origin tea or from the normal tea to what? To coffee and to bubble teas. When the demand shifted, of course, the supply will shift because people now will see that there is no more money in here. Why should I push through? Why should I do business here if it does not generate me money? Of course. Then how are we going to change that? How are we going to help in preserving the tea culture? How are we going to help in preserving the tea plantation? First, we need to help the market to change. We need to be able to educate the market. Why should they drink this? What kind of positive things that they will get from drinking this? Once the market understood, once the market set their mind to it, there will be demand. And when there will be demand, of course, the suppliers, the producer will be willing to produce more because then they will see there is a possibility for them to produce more money there. Because to be honest, in 1970s, there are a lot of people in Japan who abandoned their job and they opened tea fields. Why? Because in 1970s, the demand for Japanese tea in the country was high. Compared to now is pathetic. Same like in Indonesia, for example, because I've been living here for my whole life, right? If the people here, if the market here is only willing to spend 20 cents for tea, what makes you think that there will be more people who are willing to produce tea? if it only generates 20 cents for a certain amount of product. For example, a kg, when we talk about wholesale price, 1 kg they sell for $50, for example. And that is already a very high grade one. Then you get a lower grade one, 1 kg, $1 you can get. So if you see this, do you think this will be profitable? Of course not. And that is why now we see a lot of tea plantations has been changed, has been used for different kind of production. For example, vegetables. Another one that I noticed, we have a place called Dieng, the Dieng crater. There, we used to have a lot of tea plantations. But what do we see now in the past 2 decades? Less tea plantations, more potato plantations. Why? Because the demand for potato is higher than the demand for the tea. That's why they shift from producing tea to producing potatoes. So now you're asking me, how are we going to preserve the tea? Then you have to create the market. You have to create the demand. Once the demand for the tea increases, of course, then there will be more people willing to plant more teas. So I think that's my point of view. So when we talk about the price, it always goes back with the demand. So what we should do as someone who are passionate about tea, we should educate the market. We should tell them why should they drink tea? Why should the demand for tea go up? Why should people actually preserve the culture of tea drinking? Because personally, for me, it's not just about tea as a beverage. I use it for different kind of occasion. I use it to generate network. I use it to create friends. I also use it to enjoy myself as a leisure. So there are actually a lot of things that you can grab just from the tea itself. It really depends on your point of view and your perspective. So when we talk about trend, when we talk about snob, it really depends on the perspective of the one who introduced the people to tea and the one who is consuming the tea. It's not just a one direction, it's a both direction. The one who drinks and the one who sees. If you are acting snobbish, of course, then other people will say that you are a snob. That's why when you drink tea, you make sure that the way you behave, the way you act, the way you introduce the tea is not too offensive to a certain amount of people. Then you will be able to generate more people willing to get closer to tea. I know what Hongyuan said before, like if you go to a tea shop in Singapore, it looks fierce, right? That is why when you go there, you are already scared, right? You don't want to buy the tea, you don't want to drink the tea. You're already scared about the person who is in charge of the shop. How are you going to create a relationship there? Cannot, right? You have to be happy-go-lucky, you have to be friendly, you have to be willing to teach the people about the tea, and you have to be willing to share the tea with them so that they will be educated. I think as people who do tea businesses, you need to make the first sacrifice is for you to let the people taste the tea first. Once they tasted the tea, they share the love, they share your love for the tea, then you will be able to move on.
Okay.
I think that's my point of view.
Okay, thank you so much, Othniel. This is the last question for today's discussion. Pertanyaan untuk Mas Rio, dengan melihat respon positif yang baik dari market di Jogja dengan adanya kedai teh Sinau, apakah melihat peluang untuk mengedukasi market dengan aktivitas seperti adanya festival teh di Jogja, sehingga menjadi budaya teh yang berkelanjutan dan workshop-workshop tentang edukasi teh? Mas Rio bisa merespon pertanyaan tersebut.
Oke, terima kasih atas pertanyaan dari Mas Graham dari HOM. Ya, tentu saja saya ini masih baru ya, jadi saya sedang belajar juga. Jadi saya juga mengakui bahwa saya itu seorang pembelajar. Saya sangat berterima kasih sudah diundang di acara ini dan banyak pembicara hebat di sini. Dan saya banyak belajar dengan orang-orang hebat di sekitar saya di sini sekarang. Banyak hal baik sebenarnya yang saya dapat dari teh itu sendiri. Jadi saya dapat banyak cerita menarik di balik teh itu sendiri. Kemudian pertanyaan tadi, kedepannya sih saya ingin berkolaborasi dengan orang-orang yang ahli di bidang teh, terutama seperti yang pembicara yang ada di sini. Terus kemudian ada di Jogja juga ada yang menarik, itu ada Agradaya namanya. Itu juga bisa berkolaborasi. Jadi kita saling berkolaborasi gitu. Dan juga sebenarnya banyak teman-teman penggemar teh gitu ya. Mungkin kita bisa merangkul jadi semacam kolaborasi, dan tidak menutup kemungkinan juga untuk membuka platform atau komunikasi baru gitu ya dengan petani langsung. Jadi dari kita, kemudian penggemar, kemudian petani langsung gitu. Jadi seperti semacam program field trip atau kunjungan gitu ke perkebunan teh di Jawa Tengah maupun di Indonesia gitu. Seperti itu sih. Terus kemudian mungkin nggak ya kalau ada festival teh di Jogja? Sebenarnya sangat mungkin ya. Kalau sekarang ini kan zamannya kolaborasi gitu. Jadi saya yakin sih kalau memang ada festival teh di Indonesia maupun di luar negeri, dan di daerah-daerah sebenarnya juga bisa kayak tadi seperti yang dari Garut ya tadi ya, di Ngariung ya, dari Mas Dasep. Itu tadi juga ceritanya menarik gitu. Jadi ada festival teh di situ gitu. Terus di Jogja sebenarnya ada festival teh, bukan festival ya, tapi patehan ya, dari keraton. Itu juga bisa jadi inspirasi gitu, tempat minum teh di keraton gitu ya. Itu seperti itu sih Mas Gram. Udah cukup sih.
Oke, ya baik, terima kasih Mas Rio dan teman-teman semua yang telah berbagi kisah tentang teh. Memang untuk teh sendiri memang tidak hanya sebuah mungkin nggak hanya gaya hidup, tapi memang terlebih lagi untuk kesehatan kita, dan enggak hanya untuk kesehatan secara jasmani, tapi untuk secara batin ya. Itu juga sangat berpengaruh sekali. Saya juga seorang yang suka minum teh gitu, tapi saya tidak memahami itu lebih jauh lagi seperti yang tadi teman-teman telah sampaikan. Ini sangat menarik banget dan hal yang baru bagi saya. Oke, sebelum kita menutup diskusi malam ini, biasanya kita akan melakukan sesi foto bersama. Jadi mungkin teman-teman bisa menyalakan videonya untuk sesaat. Sebelum kita mengakhiri diskusi malam ini. Oke.
In English juga Mbak Karen buat yang
Okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining our discussion. Before we close our discussion today, we would like to have photographs with you all. So maybe you can turn on your video before we end our discussion today. Okay. Okay. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, thank you so much for all the speakers. It's really awesome to have you here. So, okay, see you in the next discussion. Okay, bye-bye all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.